Hello, PaulE, getting ready to send a request to Samantha. We go to 11 live. PaulE here. And Samantha there.
Hello.
Hello, dear. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
Aw.
It's been a long day, so I'm sure for you too. You just got off your lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. What time is it there?
Oh, I'm here. I'm same as you.
Oh, okay. All right, fine, no
Yep.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
all good. It has been a
Same
long day
island.
then.
I'm in Wiltshire and you're in London, so
Office.
so everyone or anyone who's watching, this is PaulE, Samantha Lubin. This is We Go to 11. Anyone who's seen any of the previous episodes knows that I ask my guests questions and they give an unsolicited answer. So without any ado, Samantha, I'll give you the first question. Of course, where were you born? What was your upbringing, and what can you tell me about your family?
Okay, so I was born in London, in Camden, and I grew up just outside London in Buckinghamshire. And My mum and dad, they both were part of the music industry. That's how they met. So my dad was one of the biggest distributors of music in the UK. And my
Hmm.
mum worked for a company called Lasgo Records. And basically, my dad brought, you remember those music calendars that basically my dad brought music calendars off of my mum. So that's how that kind of started. So I was really lucky that I was on like loads of music. My dad was always blaring music around the house. We would go to so many gigs. I would get taken out of school to go on big tours. So I asked my dad for my first drum kit when I was 4 years old. And then I started taking things pretty seriously when I was about 14. And I just saw that my old drum teacher actually just joined. I'm not sure if he's still on now, but his name was Gareth Baston, and he taught me, and he was a great teacher, amazing. So yeah, so I kind of like had lessons while I was at school, but wanted to do really well at school as well, like work really, really hard at school. But when I was at school, I was in two bands. One was a girl group called Twice as Nice, and it was me and another girl. And then I was also in another band with four boys, and that was called Lady and the Tramps. So yeah, just kind of like what I did really up until going to uni and going to Lipper.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's some really good names. There you go. So you've got the name part down. Lady and the Tramp. I love that.
Yeah, Lady and the
The
Tramps.
Tramps.
There was plural of them.
There you go. So influences and inspirations, your early influences and inspirations. Obviously, you've got influence from your parents. Are you an only child? Did you have a brother or sister influencing you, or?
So I have a sister, and actually she got the musical name over me. Her name is Melody. But she actually doesn't play any music. She loves music, but she doesn't play any music. But yeah, when I was growing up, like my dad used to play like the Rolling Stones all the time, Led Zeppelin, The Who. So like I was always listening to rock music. I was really lucky that actually I met Charlie Watts which was amazing. I met him in Turkey before a Rolling Stones show. But yeah, I listened to John Bonham growing up, Keith Moon, and now I would say that like my influences have really, really changed. So I kind of look to like a lot of my friends and a lot of peers, and I look up to like Kira, who you sponsored a lesson with me
Yeah.
for, which was amazing, as part of my Hit Like a Girl prize. Nikki Gillespie, I really look to her. Sarah
Okay.
Jones. I love Sarah. I love Sarah because she's really showing me that you kind of don't need to have like this massive, great big kit and be like this flashy, choppy player to get like some of the best gigs in the world. So yeah, I would say it's definitely shifted as I've got older and as I've kind of like developed myself as a player, really.
Well, you know, he met Charlie Watts in Turkey. That's, you don't get much more stripped down in a Charlie Watts kit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he was such a gentleman. He was so nice to me. Yeah, so yeah, I was really, really lucky, and my dad was like super, super supportive. So was my mum always. It's just difficult, isn't it, when you're growing up to try and like balance it with school because you want to do well at both, but then you have to make a decision like which way am I going?
Yeah, I just finished reading the Dave Grohl's book, The Storyteller, and it's the exact opposite for him because he said, I knew at a young age at school I was never going to be really good at school, so I focused on the music, and yeah, hey, the rest is history.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So. So okay, and next question. Your first live gig playing drums. Where's the first time that you went out and you were nervous, or maybe not, and it was you behind the kit in whichever band or solo talent show? What do you have to tell me?
Um, so I did a gig with my band Lady and the Tramps at our local village hall, and we were supporting our friends called Not a Clue. And I just remember the band was like an absolute shambles. It was like this punk band, and we were all just like it was just a bit chaotic. And I remember all of my mum and dad's friends were there, and they were like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? And I just remember at the end of the gig I got a little bit kind of confident, and I threw my drumsticks out into the crowd, and I nearly knocked someone out. So I've like learned never to do that ever again. There was a girl that I went to school with, I nearly like knocked her out in the head. But yeah, that was my first gig, just like doing really, really small things, village halls. Yeah, so that was it. And then
Yeah.
shortly after that I did you've actually just reminded me, I had another friend called Mark Johnson. He's a drummer, and we kind of put together this like drum battle thing. And we entered like a local contest called React, and we did this like drum battle and we won it. So that was like a huge, great big buzz. That was kind of like a turning point for me when I knew like, right, okay, like I can do this now.
Brilliant, brilliant. Next question then. Your training, and then bands like that you're with currently, other than the your past bands. Did you take any? You mentioned Gareth for lessons. Were you serious about your lessons in training? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so when I was about 14, I kind of like realized like, okay, I can do this, but I wanted to do well at school and stuff. But then when it came to choosing places to go to university, I was like, right, this is when I'm really gonna give it a proper go. I've done my music A level, like I've got like I've got my knowledge, I've got some theory, all of this kind of thing. So I applied to all the top schools here in the UK, and I applied to LIPA, which is Paul McCartney's academy in Liverpool. And basically, when I applied there, I actually got rejected.
Oh.
And that was the only place that I got rejected from. So I was like, right, I'm going there now. Like everywhere else gave me an unconditional offer or a conditional offer. So they basically said to me I wasn't ready for the degree course, and they were right. I wasn't ready for it. But they were like, we're going to put you on a year-long diploma course, really train you up, and then we want you to reapply to the degree. And it was like so difficult to get into LIPA. Like it's the second best in the world for music, and like one of the top places, you know, it's like the top place in the UK to go to. So I did this diploma course for a year where I learnt loads, and then I reapplied for the degree, and they took 2 of us on from the diploma onto the degree. So then I went and did my BA in music, and then when I graduated, they gave one drummer the Zildjian Prize, and I was like, I'm not gonna get that. Like, you know, there's too many good drummers in my class. Like, I'm just not gonna get it, and I got it, and I was so shocked that I got it, and like everybody obviously said like, well done, you deserved it and stuff, and that kind of gave me like a bit of a push into the industry and a bit of a kickstart. So that was really, really good. But I learned so much when I was at LIPA. It was just amazing. It was great.
Yeah, you know, you were challenged, so you know, maybe you applied yourself a bit more than someone that started on the you know, on the degree thing, and you know, the people who gave you the award and you're like, oh, remember, we didn't think she was good enough, and boy, she proved us wrong.
Yeah, I worked really, really hard when I was there. So it was great. Yeah. And I met Paul McCartney when I graduated. He gave me my degree. If I chose songwriting, which I didn't because I chose performance and composition, he would have taught me. He would have had a songwriting lesson with him. But
Oh,
yeah, there was like specific songwriters in our course and stuff, and I wanted to focus on, you know, the drums. So yeah.
there you go, Paul and Charlie. What a good. That's a good start.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're yeah, good
Yeah.
people to know from 100%.
Yeah, I was at the Taylor Hawkins tribute show, and you know, Paul McCartney. I'd never seen Paul McCartney, yeah, in all my years, so it was quite exciting to see him from way in the back on the angle, you know, where my seat was. But yeah, he played with Chrissy Hine, who when I was in high school was always one of my favorite performers. So yeah,
Amazing.
Paul McCartney, brilliant, brilliant.
Amazing.
Well, while we're on kits,
Yeah.
and you know, you said you had the Zildjian thing. I know that you're playing Primus drums.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell me about your studio kit and you know the tools you use in your studio, and if you're playing out, do you use the same kit?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm sitting right next to it. I've got my only kit that I'm using at the moment is my Yamaha Hip Gig kit, which is our Foster series, which they've now discontinued. And I'm endorsed by Primus snares. They endorsed me specifically for snare drums. I use this kit when I go out and gig. I'm doing a lot of gigs on percussion at the moment, so I have a totally different setup for that, and that's just that's a few different brands. But yeah, this is kind of like my baby, and I love Yamaha drums. In the past, I have played PaulE drums as well when I was a bit younger. I love the sound of their kits too. But yeah, my Yamaha Hip Gig kit, which is very, very heavy to carry when it's all packed down because it all collapses inside. How heavy it was going to be to
You
carry
broke
the
up for a
gig.
second here.
Oh, can you hear me?
Now we're back. Yep, now we're back. Now we're back. So your Primus snare, what kind of wood is it, or is it a metal?
So this is an ash stave God, Eddie's going to kill me if I don't get this right, so I better get this right. This is an ash stave snare. And then I have a beechwood and babinga snare as well, which is my 13 inch. So yeah, this is ash stave.
Both stave? Are they both stave?
No, the other one is a beechwood and babinga. This one behind me.
And it's a wrap. It's ply.
Oh no, is it beechwood babinga? That's what I said. Beech and
Oh,
babinga.
okay. No, I just mean, is it also a stave construction?
Oh, no, that's a good question. I don't know. I can show you it if you can see.
We can show real quick if you want.
Sure.
We'll give the premise their due.
Yeah, it's got. I've actually got my Mooney that you gave me on top of it. So. Oh, great. Okay, Eddie's just messaged me saying it's not ply. One stave, 13, one segmented. Sorry, Eddie. God, I'm awful. Eddie's like crying with laughter. Sorry. I'm a terrible person to endorse for snares. Sack me.
There you go.
Yeah, put on the spot.
Brilliant. And yeah,
snare drums, they sound amazing. And he's a really, really great guy. And the HQ is in Nottingham. And I've just done a load of reels for them, which you can check out. And we're putting out a YouTube cover in a couple of months. So yeah, but his snare drums are the best. Like when we were at the UK drum show this year, we kind of like took over and everyone was like, oh my God, what are these snares?
Yeah, I was at the UK drum show as well. So yeah, there was a lot of different kind of snare. Personally, since I do, stave construction, my stuff is stave. I like the stave as well. It's real solid sounding snare drums. I was across from the PaulE drum booth. So they had somebody that was playing live for 15 minutes at the top of every hour along to a track played over a PA, which was more than I really wanted to hear for 15 minutes when you're trying to talk to people about your product and you've got somebody playing along to 80s hair metal,
Oh, was that
at the top of...
Was that opposite where you could get the food and the coffee and everything? That bit?
It was close to the food and the coffee. Yeah, it was actually directly. I was next to Joe Becky. Do you know Joe Becky drums?
Joe Becky drums.
They do electronic. They do really nice stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was when I talked to them about coming back next year. I said, I would think about it, but I definitely would not want to be in the same spot if they're going to allow people to have PA systems cranking backing tracks that they're going to play along to. It's not you were there. It's crazy enough at a drum show. The last thing we need is somebody doing pseudo live performance with a PA. There's enough sounds going on without that happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I introduced some of my drums there. So this is my Mooney. This is Mooney number 1 there. This is the first one I've made. And of course I keep the number 1. And it's not for you for sale, so to speak. But yeah, I really like those. My original Bonnie, named after John Bonham, because as you said, some of your early heroes are some of my heroes, even still. I'm an old guy. What can I say? But my original Bonnie was named after John Bonham, because I remember he used to have he was one of the only guys in the late 60s, early 70s that had a hi-hat tambourine. So that sort of was my inspiration to come up with that. And then when I came up with the Mooney, obviously named after Keith Moon, it's essentially half of a Bonnie with a straight along the back, so that you can give it a whack. And also, if you turn it away from you like that, so that's you can get in at your hi-hat easier if it's not standing there, in your way, so to speak. But yeah, so as a winner of the Hit Like a Girl, I went one question too much. We'll go now with the Hit Like a Girl. The winners in the UK got their own Mooney and a lesson with Kira, who was lovely, I'm sure, to work with. She's a fabulous teacher and a fabulous person. And the Hit Like a Girl, can you tell me about your video entry? And after that, about the project that you're involved in now?
Sure. So this year I entered with a cover of Make Yourself by Incubus, because I wanted to do something that was going to challenge me, and it like moves in different time signatures throughout the verses. I also wanted to do something with a bit of oomph, and I wanted to do a song that kind of like really stands true to who I am, and like all the lyrics and everything really kind of like resonate with me. Like no one's going to make your life for you, are they? You have to do it for yourself. So that was kind of like the idea behind it. And then I was super thrilled that I came second. That was amazing. Second in the UK, and then I was in the top 25 worldwide, which was like a massive achievement for me. And then from that, I started working a lot more closely with David. And we're working on a project at the moment, which can't say too much about because it's just about to launch, but keep your eye out for everything that we're doing on the socials. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more opportunities coming going forward. Are you having a glass of wine?
Of course.
Oh, no, I was having a glass of wine. I'm here with some water, but cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, everything goes better with a glass of red.
Yeah, 100%. That's great. If I had my drink of choice, if I was here, I would have a white wine, but I'm gonna just drink water while we're doing this anyway. So yeah, it's all very exciting, and yeah, I really want to be like a positive role model for younger drummers that are coming up, and kind of share a lot of like my experiences and just help in whatever way I can. Because there's a lot of like really young players out there who are like really good, and they've got like fantastic careers ahead of them. So I just want to try and like help them and support them in whatever way I can, really. And I think that the project's great. Like the whole contest is great. There's definitely been a bit of like a before and an after for me. I know people say that, but it's true. Like there is a before and there is an after. And I'm just really excited to see kind of like what happens really with that whole side of things.
Brilliant. Yeah, well, we'll look forward to the project launching, and David was nice enough to let me be a sponsor, and you were talking about challenging yourself. Those Hit Like a Girl judges, they know the stuff. So if you're not doing something challenging, chances are you're not going to make the cut, so to speak. They're really looking for the special people that are challenging themselves and doing an odd time signatures, and not doing your standard little bits.
100%. Yeah, definitely. And they were all super nice to me, and like we've connected on Instagram, and Yeah, it's been really, really positive. It's been great, you know, because it's quite scary, like going into that kind of like world if you've not really gone in before, and you don't really, you know, it's
Mm.
like it's a bit daunting. But yeah, I've met so many amazing people through it, like yourself. Like you're so supportive of everything that I'm doing, and yeah, it's amazing. It's been great, really positive.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I only have good things to say about Hit Like a Girl as well.
Aw.
So let's get on to our next question is your favorite gig, the favorite gig that you've had that you've performed. What can you tell us about it?
Okay, so before COVID, the band that I was in was a band called Baby Teeth, and we played at the Roundhouse in Camden, and we supported Adamant, and that was pretty amazing. That was probably like my favorite gig that I've done. It was a really special night. Um, so yeah, that's it. That's my favorite gig.
Did Adam strip?
Not that I saw, not that I was there. He came into our dressing room and he said like, "Well done" after we played, and he was like, "Everybody loved you." He did a few
Oh,
shows, and we just supported him for one show because I think he wanted different support bands so that he could promote as many people as possible. But yeah, that was
well,
my highlight.
oh, that sounds like a great gig. Yeah,
Mm.
the Roundhouse too is a special place. I actually saw the Foo Fighters at one of their secret shows at the Roundhouse. Gosh, that would have been 2011, maybe 12, something like that. And I remember because I just saw the Wembley, and I can remember being in the Roundhouse, and obviously the Roundhouse, and it's quite an intimate venue.
Yeah.
Very nice. I really enjoy the Roundhouse. So
That must have
now we're
been
going to get to our next.
amazing seeing the
Yep,
Foo Fighters in the Roundhouse. That must have been like unbelievable. Wow. What a gig.
yeah, it was quite amazing. It was one of these ones where my wife was on, I guess it was Facebook, and says, "Hey, the Foo Fighters just announced a gig. Tickets go on sale in 10 minutes." The surprise because they were playing at one of the festivals or maybe even Wembley the night before. And I was just like, oh, let's try. So we both got on, at 10 a.m. and, got lucky enough to get tickets to see the Foos. And it was quite an amazing show, to be so close and intimate with them when they've just come from playing 70,000 and now they're playing to 500.
Mm.
Yeah, I can only imagine what that rush must the difference. But yeah, I love the Foos and Taylor, his drumming. I really loved his drumming. It was a bit of a sad tribute show, but it was a really good tribute show at the same time. Seeing all these different people playing. Omar Hakim, I'd never seen play before.
Mm.
That was quite nice. Josh Freeze, seeing Dave behind the drums again. So yeah, so that was a dream gig. And now my question,
Mm-hmm.
and Lola Drums, Instagram, Lola Teague. Her question was, what would your dream gig be? If you could have any gig, what would it be?
So I am actually in the process of setting up a new project, a new band, and I think that this is actually going to be my dream gig. I don't really want to say too much about it, but all I will say is that it's a two-piece. It's me and one other person, and so it's going to be me and this very talented musician who has had much success before, and we are aiming to get the project launched by the end of the year. But I think that this is going to be my dream gig. It's the kind of music that I've always wanted to do with the kind of person that I'd always wanted to play with. I think it's going to be great. But if I had to play for a band that everybody knows, I would love to play for Yonica. I love them. I think that they are amazing, and they're like super supportive of everything that I do. Rob, their drummer, he's great. I speak to him a lot on social media and stuff. He's fantastic. I would also love to play for Harry Styles and just have like a general, like really cool pop gig. But yeah, I do feel that this project that I'm setting up is going to be the one.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, you said it's your favorite genre. So our follower question from Zachy Lightfoot. Mm-hmm. Zachy's on Instagram all the time and very positive character, supportive. And he wants to know what your favorite genre to play is.
So it's definitely rock/pop. Definitely a rocky poppy girl. Yeah, and I think that kind of comes across with everything that I post. I kind of like keep it all within a certain kind of genre that I love and that I can play really well, and that sounds good to me, and yeah, it makes me feel good too.
Brilliant, brilliant. So that's the 10 questions. So we go to 11. Mm-hmm. So now you've got your chance to ask me a question.
Yes. So, PaulE, you have clearly worked in this industry for many years and you know how it goes. What advice would you give to somebody like me who is trying to get to where they're going? And yeah, I'd love to hear what you've got to say.
Brilliant. Well, anyone who knows me knows I love to talk and give advice. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. But working hard, which obviously you're doing, that working hard and with a focus, like you said, your dream gig. This is something that it's really up your alley, and it's in your focus. And to have your focus on your plan. Okay, it's great to take lots of gigs and always be learning, but always have your eye, on your target. If you're a jazz musician, you don't want to end up playing in a pop rock band. If you're a pop rock musician, you don't want to end up your gig being in a jazz band, right? You want to try these things, but you want to stay focused on what's true to you, and really, have your plan, right? You seem like you've got a plan. I know you're working hard. Also, be friendly and reliable, right? No one wants to be with somebody that's unreliable and is always annoying. So that's, trying to get along, trying to learn, trying to be a positive influence on any project you're in. And then, of course, don't give up. Don't give up on your dream. Always keep fighting. Giving up is easy. Carrying on, that's the only way you'll get to your dream. And, some might never get to their dream. But, what do they say? If you don't try, it's not going to happen. So have your focus, work hard, be friendly, reliable, don't give up.
Okay. That's great advice. I'm going to take all of that and I'm going to think of that all the time.
Brilliant. Well, again, the good part is that you've got a lot of those boxes ticked. You work hard, you've got a plan, you're friendly, reliable. You've done a lot of gigs, with other, you have a lot of bands that you'd mentioned, different bands that you played in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all the best. The sky's the limit.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was saying that I was reading the Dave Grohl book, which I would recommend to anyone out there. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Dave dropped out of high school to play in a band, The Scream, a punk band, where, you know, his per diem was $7.50 a day. He traveled Europe, you know, and around the States, sleeping on floors. You know, before he went to LA with that band, and the bass player quit. And he talked to got in touch with the guys from Nirvana through a mutual friend. And, you know, he then called his mom. And he said, so, Mom, you know, do I do this? Do I leave the guys that I'm with? Do I take this chance? You know? And she says, sometimes you've got to, you know, to fulfill your dream, you need to, you know, think about yourself first. And he did. And, you know, he joined Nirvana. And as he said, then it was great. My per diem was $15 a day. You know, so even when he joined Nirvana, he, you know, he wasn't really, you know, making a lot of money. He talked about eating, you know, having 3 corn dogs a day for his meals, you know, 1 at lunch and then 2 for dinner. And that was basically it. And again, you know, the rest is history. So, you know, I don't know about the early history unless you read up about it. But then, of course, we all know about, you know, how important Nirvana was in the early 90s. And, of course, the tragedy of Kurt's death. And then, of course, Dave doing the Foo Fighters, which, if you don't know, he did all the first stuff himself. The first album was all Dave. Played drums, played guitar, played bass, and he didn't even have a studio. He was basically had a couple boom boxes, and he would do the tape, and then he would play a tape over and put in another tape into the next boom box, and then he would play drums to that, and then he would put that tape in again, and then do his vocals over it. So, yeah, amazing. Dave is definitely a hero of mine for sure, and for all accounts, is a really great guy. And you know, I love me some Foos. You say you're like the pop rock. I mean, you can't get much more pop rock than the Foos.
Yeah, I think you're gonna love this project that I'm setting up, PaulE, because well, the guy. I don't want to give too much away, but the guy that I'm setting it up with, he was in a band before, and Steve Albini recorded them, and obviously Steve Albini worked with Nirvana. So I think you're gonna love this. I love this band. I'm not sure if we'll be the next Foo Fighters, but it's definitely listen to them for a lot of inspiration and stuff. So the first people to hear us when we've got it all sorted. I'll send it over. So that's a great story.
Brilliant.
And I need to read this book. I definitely need to read this book. I've not read it. So yeah, thank you for telling me about the book.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good. You know, he did the first book, oh God, I forget what it was, but it was somebody else writing it about Dave, so to speak. And this one is written by Dave during the pandemic because, as he said, he needed something to do, and you know, and he's called the storyteller, and he's a great storyteller.
Amazing.
You know, you can get it. You can get the book on Amazon as well, and then you can listen to it, and it's Dave actually doing the reading.
Amazing.
So, very, very good, very good. So, Samantha, I want to thank you so much for being a part of We Go to 11 and the PaulE family.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best in all your projects, your band, the Hit Like a Girl, you know, project that's going to be coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to next year to being a part of the Hit Like a Girl again, because it definitely was rewarding for me as well, you know, helping people, you know, and connecting with with people such as yourself.
Thank
So
Thank you so much, PaulE, and thank you for supporting like up and coming artists, because you know it's so important, and you're so supportive and like really really kind, and you spend a lot of time like talking to us. I know like people can't see like all the like messages and stuff, but you're always commenting, always resharing, always posting. And you know, people like me, we really need people like you, because I'm very much at the start of my journey. So, and people remember stuff like this, you know, they remember the ones that help them and that are genuine and everything. So thank you. Everyone says such lovely things about you because you're great. So yeah.
oh, well, thank you. Here's a cheers to you. You can raise your water bottle. I'll raise my wine.
Aww.
And cheers to you, cheers to me, cheers to Hit Like a Girl, Primus Drums, Zaki for his question, and Lola for her question. So
definitely. And I would just apologise to Eddie for getting the make of the snare wrong. But I think he said it's fine. I think that's why he endorses me, because he just thinks, yeah, anyway. Oh, but yeah, I love him. Anyway, thank you so much.
Brilliant. Well, be sure to check out when I go to the UK drum show again. I'll be sure to stop by his booth this time.
Yes, definitely. Hopefully, I'll be playing at it.
Brilliant. Yeah, let's hope so.
Things.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. And for those who've watched, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
I'll repost this on my page and in my YouTube. So, yeah. All the best, Samantha.
Thank you. You
Keep
too.
rocking.
Thank you.
And we'll stay in touch.
Take care. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.